Hey guys, welcome back to the Soap Lab here on the farm. Last time I left you, I had finished making my ocean soap, my beach bum soap. Oh, I hope I have another glove. And that is curing and will be ready June 10th. So excited about that. But I have a lot of questions that come in about soap recipes, and I do and will leave one below as well that is a base soap recipe that can help you formulate your own base soap recipe. So let's go start at the beginning really quick and just talk about what soap is. So soap is a chemical reaction between water and lye and oils and butters or oils. We won't get into specialty soaps like Castor soap and salt soap and those right now. I'm just talking about a base recipe that you can use to make the majority of your soaps, the majority of your soap products for you, your family, your customers, however you want to do that in what your goals are in making soap. You can have a bar that's more cleansing, you can have a bar that's more conditioning, more bubbly, more moisturizing, those kinds of things. But basically, all in all, soap is soap. My first advice is don't try to invent the wheel in making soap. It is actually very simple just to come up with a base recipe. And then I'm making yam cream right now, but then you can come up with additives that will help enhance your soap recipe. Having a base recipe is great so that you can just know, hey, this is my soap recipe, it's stabilized, and I'm gonna go make 5 soaps. It's the same recipe, but I'm just adding different additives. So with that being said, there's 2 questions I think you should ask yourself. If you're wanting to make soap, if you already started making soap, but you're struggling with a soap recipe and how to come up with that, again, feel free to use my base recipe down below. It's in percentages. Know how to use soap calc. But here's the 2 questions. Why do you want to make soap? So answer that question. It could be just for your family. You know, I'm on a homestead here. It helps support our nonprofit, Steadfast Trail Farm. It helps support our homestead. We have a lot of dreams. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I want to bring my husband home. That's the other goal. But the ultimate reason of why I make soap is to help women ditch the chemicals that are in self-care products today that are wreaking havoc on our endocrine system, which is responsible for hormones. So that is my goal. Everything I put in all my products, not just my soap, is all natural and pure and doesn't cause any imbalances in the endocrine system. What I'm pouring in here, what's in here is my yam cream infusion, or my yam infusion. I infused olive oil and yam cream and our yam botanicals, like the dried yam, and also some other beneficial herbs. The other question to ask yourself, and I kind of answered it in both of mine, in the first one and the second one, is who is your market? Who are you marketing to? Obviously, I'm marketing to women. I want to educate them on what they're putting on their bodies and give them an option that is not chemical, doesn't have all the chemicals and harmful additives to it, and then therefore they can educate their family and make healthy choices in that. So who is your market? Is it going to be the community, the community around you, going to farmers markets? Who are you trying to reach? That's the other thing. Those 2 questions will help you formulate your soap because, for instance, I like using a lot of olive oil. Olive oil has a lot of oleic acid in it. It's gone up in price, so I have used in some cases some of my sunflower oil, but I have to go back to soap calc and redo my calculations to make sure I'm putting the right amount of lye to turn my oils into soap. So high oleic acid products are good for aging, maturing skin. Olive oil is a great first base oil to pick in your soap. But again, like I said, don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go in and go, well, I'm gonna add olive oil and avocado oil, and I'm gonna add some jojoba oil and all these. I would highly recommend to save those specialty oils for such things like yam cream. I'm getting ready to put rose hip oil in here, as well as some argan and jojoba. So save those specialty oils. Now you could totally do an olive oil and some avocado oil, but the more items that you have in your soap recipe, the longer it's going to take. And if you can just have one base soap recipe, like I listed below, and start with that and see how you like it. And then you can add, maybe divide your cocoa butter with shea butter and, you know, divide it in half. Do half cocoa butter, half shea butter. Again, you need to punch it through soap calc again to make sure you have the correct amount of lye in your recipe to turn your oils and butters into soap. The other thing that helps when you have your base soap recipe, is when you go to make your labels, you're not like changing all this other stuff out. You have your base soap recipe and you might be changing out the colors or maybe some additives that you've put in. I like taking my olive oil that I'm utilizing for my base soap recipe and infuse those things into that olive oil and then strain into my oils and butters for the recipe. I am labeling my ladies only bar. This is my branded boxes, which I'm really excited about. And I just created the labels to go around that side. Again, this is a little bit more of a specialty bar, so it is different than my base soap recipe. But all my other soaps that I make for my wholesale orders or my soaps of the month are all gonna be my base soap recipe. And then my shampoo bars are different and my face bars are different. This, I'm gonna see if it's gonna be a main staple in my line. Time will tell. So far it's being received really well. And then I use my shrink wrap system here to wrap them up. Now you've got a base, say you've got a base soap recipe. Like I said, you can take those oils that you're using or partial of the oils that you're using. You don't want to go, I'm going to say this, but there's so many rules that apply. Typically in your base soap recipe, if you can stay at 45 to 50 of your oils that are oils at room temperature. They're just going to be your oils at room temperature. That's going to be your olive oil, your avocado oil, your castor oil. And mentioning castor oil, I think if I was going to tell you any oil to have in, there's a lot of must-haves, but a lot of times people don't put castor oil in their soap, in their recipe, in their base soap recipe. And I'm telling you, castor oil, I would not make soap without having some castor oil. And 5% of your soap recipe is plenty for castor oil. It makes great bubbles. Now, I don't go over 30% of coconut oil in my base soap recipe because it's very cleansing. It also does help with bubbles as well, but 30% is a max that I do with coconut oil in my soap base recipe. That would be a max, but mine is down. I believe mine now is like 25%. I think also times in starting out, you can be overwhelming and trying to figure out what to do. You want to make like the best bar ever. Like your bar is going to be, you know, better than any other soap bar. And like I said, you can't really reinvent the wheel. Soap is soap. Be honest with you, it's going to be soap. And depending on the oils that you pick, yeah, it could be more cleansing. And that's where soap calc comes in and helps you look at your recipe and go, okay, this is a good hard bar. It's right in the middle, kind of on the more higher end of being cleansing, if that's what you are looking for. For instance, if you're like marketing to mechanics, you're going to want something that's more cleansing, something that's going to clean better because I already did that one. Yay. Because they, you know, have their hands in a lot of stuff. Charcoal soap. What's really big right now, what's happening is some people are doing their base recipe is a salt bar. There's two that I know of that have just like gone viral making salt bars, and that's all they have across the board is salt bars. Maybe that's something you want to do, and you can cut them fast, but yeah, it's that's an option as well, but that's a different recipe than anything that I've listed below because you really have to adjust your recipe on that when you're including in salt. This still has a little ways to go before I can whip this up. So I think the main part of me doing this video, which is really quick, is just to encourage you where you are. Don't feel overwhelmed. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. It took me 5 years to make my first batch of soap. Literally read and watched everything I could. And I found what I liked, what stuck with me and what fit with my brand. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing your why and who. Your why and who you're marketing to is huge, because that's going to help you. If you're in an area that, I don't know, I'm going to throw something out that has like maple sugar or something like that, you can put some maple sugar in your lye solution. You know, there's those things that you can tie in with where you are in the environment you're in, your community, that you can tie into your soap without going crazy overboard and having all these different kinds of oils and butters in your soap. Because really, if you just have even the base recipe down below, it's a great start, and you can be on your way to making soap. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to make your first batch of soap. Please ask me if you have any questions. Let me know. I absolutely love helping and encouraging others to do something that they're passionate about. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped a little bit and just kind of helping you relax and not be so concerned about how you're gonna make this soap bar. And I'll be back with some more. So be blessed. Bye.